Sugar doesn't just cause weight gain, it can quietly strain your body's filtration system. I used to think daily fatigue was normal. But when you cut added sugar, something can change fast. Here's the shock line most people are not ready for. A lot of normal tiredness is just your body fighting friction all day. In the next 60 seconds, I'll walk you through a 30-day timeline that explains why week 1 can feel worse, why week 2 can feel lighter, and why week 3 is where the real shift can start. And near the end, I'll give you one ingredient label trick that exposes the hidden sugar most people eat every day without realizing it. Here's what most people miss. When I say sugar here, I mean added sugars found in sweet drinks, desserts, and processed foods, not whole fruit. This is educational content, not medical advice. And if you have diabetes, kidney disease, gout, or take blood pressure medications, talk to a qualified clinician before making major dietary changes. Most people assume kidney decline is just aging or too much protein, but daily metabolic strain and dietary patterns can also matter. One common driver is long-term excess added sugar, which can contribute to metabolic stress that strains these delicate internal filters. Here is a clear 30-day timeline of what can happen when you remove added sugar for 30 days. One warning, the first phase looks scary, but it is often predictable. If you want the full 30-day map and the checklist at the end, subscribe now, because Phase 2 is where most people quit for the wrong reason. Phase 1, days 1 to 3. Between day 1 and day 3, insulin drops sharply. High insulin often acts like a one-way valve. It can push the kidneys to hold sodium and trap fluid. When insulin falls, that signal loosens. Translation: the floodgates open. You dump stored sodium and fluid. You may lose water weight fast. Urine output can jump. It looks alarming. It is usually predictable. Important, this is not fat loss. This is pressure relief. And pressure relief is only the setup. Because here is the trap. People feel lighter, think I'm fixed, and go right back to sugar. Do not do that. Because Phase 2 is where the internal friction starts to change. Mini open loop number 1. If you understand Phase 2, you stop failing at day 5. Phase 2, days 4 to 7. By day 4, the focus shifts from water weight to chemical friction. High amounts of processed liquid fructose can push the liver into a bottleneck. It burns through cellular energy and produces uric acid. Now watch this. Uric acid circulates and can settle into kidney tissue. Think of it like microscopic grit in a delicate pipe. Over time, it can contribute to irritation and inflammation. When you remove added sugars, this continuous uric acid production can often decrease over time. So the scraping slows. Inflammation can begin to calm. What you notice first is not a kidney feeling. You notice your day feels less jagged. Energy can feel steadier. Cravings can spike right here. Yes, right here. And here's shock line number 2. Cravings are not weakness. They are withdrawal from a system you trained for years. So if you quit here, you are not protecting your body. You are walking away 1 inch before the ground gets stable. Mini open loop number 2 in Phase 3. I'll show you the one move that makes cravings quieter within days. Phase 3, days 8 to 14. Week 2 is where stability can start. The kidneys are dense, hard-working organs. They need constant cellular energy to filter blood through millions of microscopic structures. On a high sugar pattern, energy is often erratic. Spikes and crashes, volatility, more oxidative stress. When added sugar is removed, the baseline often steadies. Many people begin leaning more on fatty acids and ketones for fuel, which can feel more consistent. But here is the real mechanism people do not talk about. Less spiking can signal autophagy, your internal recycling process. Think of it as maintenance mode. Damaged cellular parts can be cleared. Inefficient mitochondria can be recycled. The system can run with less resistance. Now we connect the dots. Week 1 is pressure relief. Week 2 is friction reduction plus maintenance. But week 3 is where the filter itself can stop getting sticky damage. Mini open loop number 3. The next phase explains why some people stop waking up puffy, even if their diet still looks pretty clean. Phase 4, days 15 to 21. By week 3, we enter structural territory. Inside the kidneys are microscopic filtration networks called glomeruli. Chronic high blood sugar can contribute to structural damage through glycation. Excess glucose can bind to proteins and create advanced glycation end products. Picture syrup hardening on a fine mesh screen. The mesh stiffens. It clogs. It tears under pressure. When added sugar stays lower, new glycation buildup can drop. You stop adding fresh, sticky damage. In clinical settings, structural relief can be associated with improved urinary protein markers, including microalbuminuria, which is the abnormal leakage of trace proteins into the urine. Practical translation: over time, the filtration seal can become less leaky. And that is why week 3 can feel different than week 1. Week 1, pressure drops. Week 3, the system can begin stabilizing. Then the final week stacks everything. Phase 5, days 22 to 30. In the final week, compounding effects can show up as broader microvascular decompression. With consistently lower glucose and insulin, small blood vessels can become less rigid over time in many people. That reduces mechanical stress. It is like turning down pressure on a fragile internal hose. This may help explain why some people who track lab markers sometimes notice better kidney-related readings during this window, especially when overall metabolic markers improve. And here is the strange part. You do not necessarily feel an organ heal. You feel the drag it used to put on your day disappear. Better filtration tends to support electrolyte balance. That can mean fewer nighttime cramps, more stable sleep, less brain fog. Not magic. Less resistance. Now step back. The macro view. Most people assume slow decline is inevitable with age, but daily metabolic strain can influence how fast decline happens. Some people focus only on sodium restriction and ignore chemical friction. That can miss a major part of the picture. When you only look at symptoms like fatigue and fluid retention, it feels random. But mapped on a 30-day timeline, it becomes a sequence. Days 1 to 3, pressure drop. Days 4 to 7, friction reduction. Days 8 to 14, maintenance mode. Days 15 to 21, structural stabilization. Days 22 to 30, compounding relief. Now, the ingredient label trick I promised. To give your body the best chance to benefit from this timeline, you need a consistent plan you can follow. Do this. Step 1. Read every ingredient label and eliminate hidden sugars like maltodextrin, dextrose, and high fructose corn syrup, especially in sauces, flavored yogurts, and packaged snacks. Step 2. Replace the lost sugary calories with whole food proteins, fiber-rich carbohydrates, and healthy fats to keep energy stable during the transition. Step 3. Choose mineral-rich whole foods such as leafy greens and other minimally processed options. And if you have kidney disease or have been told to limit potassium, follow your clinician's guidance. Avoid this. Trap 1. Do not replace sugar with massive amounts of artificial sweeteners. Some research suggests heavy use may affect the gut microbiome and appetite regulation in certain people. Trap 2. Do not restrict water intake during days 1 to 3. Your kidneys often need fluid to safely execute the initial sodium dump. Trap 3. Avoid leaning on highly processed keto or zero-sugar junk foods. They can keep cravings alive and add unnecessary load. If you only remember one thing, kidney decline is rarely sudden. It is often the slow result of pressure and chemical stress damaging delicate filtration structures over time. Removing added sugar reduces dietary friction and can give the system a chance to stabilize. If you want more breakdowns like this with clear timelines and practical steps, subscribe, because the next video will show the 3 health foods that secretly spike added sugar the most. Now comment one line. Which phase are you in right now? Days 1 to 3, days 4 to 7, days 8 to 14, days 15 to 21, or days 22 to 30?